Probably the most beautiful sound I've ever heard. A perfect mix of nostalgia, love, and of course rage. But we're not here to cry over childhood memories. At least not yet. Because honestly, there are worse things to cry about. Like not being invited to the Ice Bucket Challenge revival, of course. Or seeing you haven't dropped a like yet. I always see you. Come on, press it. Anyway, jokes aside. Did you know Mario Kart almost didn't exist?
Yeah, no shit.
Let me finish. I'm not saying like Mario almost didn't exist because in a parallel universe nobody thought of creating him. This is different. Nobody at Nintendo wanted to make Mario Kart. It just happened, kinda by accident, a compromise. The original plan was to create a multiplayer version of this, a futuristic high-speed racing game, F-Zero. I know, it doesn't ring any bells now, but back then it was fairly well known. The problem? The SNES was weak, and with weak, I mean really weak. We are talking about early 90s tech. Split screen gameplay was basically sci-fi, like my dog stopped barking when I have to record. By the way, it was completely impossible, but the project was already in motion. They couldn't just scrap it. They had already spent too much money. So they tried literally everything. Removed the flying cars, replaced them with go-karts, slowed the whole thing down, shrank the tracks, basically nerfed the game into existence just to make it run. Forget open world. Back then it was a miracle just to have a working track without the console melting. Once they had the carts, Super Mario wasn't far behind. Because look at the original characters. They just sucked. No identity, nobody would have cared. The game would have flopped for sure, so they pulled out the only franchise with enough lovable characters, Super Mario. Boom, there's your Koopa in a cart. Kart? Check. Mario? Check. But Nintendo wasn't done. The game requires skill, and they were like, no, we hate that. Let's add a blue shell so players can lose in the final second. Great idea, thank you Nintendo, thank you. Kidding aside, they could have showed that blue shell up in there. Never mind. But let's be real, items changed literally everything. Sure, having Mario already gave the game an identity, but without items, it would have been just another racer. No one had ever added power-ups into a racing game before. I guess it was like the Nintendo difference showing. Now even your little brother who held the controller upside down could win and have fun. Oh, and if you care, which you probably don't, they already had battle mode in the first game. Yeah, the one where you pop other people's balloons. Yeah, remember it? You always see on the home screen but never actually click. Anyway, if you have doubt, the game sold out in just 2 days. And the rest, well, you know it, the rest is history. We got sequel after sequel after sequel. And I hope it never stops. But now that you know how it was made, what was Super Mario Kart actually like? Well, it's kinda harsh saying it, but it was pretty trash. Compared to today's game, it was a mess. Glitches everywhere, laps that could be skipped with a little jump, CPUs getting random items from who knows where. Lucky to taking 5 years to put you back on the track. But you know what? That was part of the fun. Even now we are used to tryhards discovering lap skips, insane shortcuts or ways to dodge blue shells. We all know how to use a mushroom just to dodge it. But the game is still a masterpiece. And the numbers don't lie. Even though the game wasn't perfect, people loved it. So in 1996, Mario Kart 64 came out. It was the first sequel after the success of Super Mario Kart. And honestly, it didn't disappoint. It literally improved everything. First off, the graphics. Thanks to the Nintendo 64, they managed to make it fully 3D. And honestly, it really looks good, especially if you consider that the next real big upgrade wouldn't come until Mario Kart 8, but I'll talk about that in the next video. So if you don't want to miss the part 2, set an alarm for Saturday or just subscribe and hit the bell, it'll be your personal alarm. And finally, with Mario Kart 64, you could play with up to 4 players on the same console. Not just 2 anymore. But hey, I don't have friends, so it wasn't a big deal for me. Yeah, I know, life is sad. But it's a little less sad when you can race on tracks like Wario Stadium, Bowser Castle and Yoshi's Valley. Yeah, I think it's a fair trade, no friends, but good tracks. Oh, and yeah, Rainbow Road too. But Rainbow Road is literally in every Mario Kart and it's basically always the most loved track. So, to be rebellious, I won't talk about it. Beside that, you could drift. Not yet on the walls, of course, and it was pretty buggy while you do it, but still, it was there. and that mechanic still holds up. Let's be real, it was another genius idea, almost as good as adding items. And speaking of items, this Mario Kart introduced him for the first time. Yeah, the blue shell. They also added the 3 mushrooms, and for the meme there were 5 bananas instead of 3, so you were sure nobody would hit you. You'd pick them up once and you were good for the whole cap. They also added the 3 difficulty levels, 50, 100 and 150cc, plus the classic battle modes, which as usual nobody really cared about. The only downside was that there were still only 8 characters, but this time Wario decided to kick Koopa out and take his place, while the others were the usual: Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Donkey Kong and Bowser. After this game, Mario Kart Super Circuit came out for the Game Boy Advance, and honestly, not bad at all. A bit forgettable? Sure, but it did its job. I mean, they could have skipped the arrows popping up in my face every other turn, but aside from that, it wasn't a bad game, especially considering they had to adapt it to a handheld console. It could have turned out way worse. The characters are still the same, but don't worry, we won't have to wait much longer to get a lot more. Yeah, I say you, Double Dash. In Super Circuit, aside from the smoother gameplay and fewer bugs, the main addition were the tracks, some of which we've seen return in later games, like Cheese Land and Luigi's Circuit. Oh, and I would like to tell you that they eventually realized that maybe, just maybe, 5 bananas were a bit too much, so they cut it down to the classic 3 we still have today. But unfortunately, they only figured that out in 2003 with Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube. And with Double Dash, they realized the franchise needed a refresh, something new had to happen, and suddenly you see a cow among the characters. Oops, wait, that's in Mario Kart World. Okay, Nintendo wasn't that crazy yet. The weirdest character here is Beard, I guess, or whatever his name is. But hey, you needed someone to pair with Yoshi. The coolest thing about this game, and probably why I ended up loving it more than any other Mario Kart, is that you could play 2 players in the same kart. Sure, complaining about my friends and losing because they were terrible at using items wasn't as fun, but racing together was revolutionary. Too bad they never brought that mode back, not even as a bonus. I loved it, maybe because I would spam mushrooms with my sister just to make her crash. Or maybe I just love teamwork. Who knows? There's so much to talk about. It has 20 characters in total, including my beloved Diddy. Not P. Diddy, of course. It introduced the twin item mechanic. Each player on the kart could hold their own item and you could swap drivers anytime. For the first time the kart matters. Each duo has its own vehicle with unique stats. Weight, speed, acceleration, not at the custom level like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but way better than having one generic kart for everyone. On top of that, each character duo can get their own special items. Peach gets hearts. Donkey Kong, a giant banana? Yeah, it sounds really weird, but blame Nintendo, not me. On the GameCube we also got tracks like Baby Park, Peach Beach and DK Mountain. Definitely not filler. Plus, it introduced the concept of unlocking content over time. 2 unlockable characters, which were King Boo and PT Piranha, but I mean, they were ugly as shit, so it wasn't worth it. And then there was the mirror mode, which wasn't available until you beat 150cc, which isn't amazing on its own, but it's a start, especially seeing how much better they executed it in Mario Kart Wii. The joy of unlocking Rosalina? Unbeatable for me. But here's the strangest thing, Double Dash sold the least out of all Mario Karts, except Super Circuit on Game Boy Advance. And yeah, the console is to blame, of course. GameCube was one of Nintendo's worst commercial failure, even so it deserved more success, at least for me, and we might talk about that in a future video. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that. Even so, I'm happy that fans are evaluating Double Dash now. It sucks that Nintendo pretty much erased the idea of 2 players per kart. Now we have an open world Mario Kart with endless modes, Grand Prix, Survival, Team Challenges, like 10 battle modes, but still no duo mode. And no Diddy Kong, I really miss him. It was already crazy paying for a DLC just to play with Diddy Kong for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I hope that at least in this one it could have been available as one of the main characters, but nothing. We have cows, we don't have Diddy. Yo, what happened? We're already over 10 minutes. Sorry, I didn't want to steal you all this time. I was following the flow and got lost, with Double Dash. And yeah, well, of course I'm doing a part 2 and if needed, part 3. Because as you saw in this video, I really love this franchise. It really shaped my childhood. I mean, I spent hours and hours and hours playing Mario Kart with myself, my sister, my friends, with literally everybody. And if you're still watching, you probably love it too. So yeah, well, I don't know how good YouTuber ends the video, so I don't know, see you in part 2 or whatever the next video will be about. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, all this stuff. Love you. No, not you. Love you, Diddy Kong.